Okay, we'll just wait a bit, see if anyone turns up. There's I have no idea what happened there. The chat wasn't showing, so I hit refresh, which killed the stream. And then when I tried to do another stream, it did all sorts of weird stuff that it's not done before. So I had to shut down YouTube, go back in, and reset another stream. So I don't know, something weird going on there anyway. Probably something I pressed my computer, or just me brain farting and pressing the wrong button. Most likely that option. So we've got some people coming back in, and then here's where we get to see how far behind the chat is. Hello, Kerry. Thankfully, third time lucky, I got the thing to work. I have no idea what went wrong. Hello, Sandy. I'll say it was Show Tampa Tom's greeting. Then it said unable to connect to chat. So I hit refresh. Then it ended the stream. And then I could see all the chat. And then it had a big brain fart and tried to start another stream and it wouldn't. So had to go back to desktop and come back in again. Anyway. Hey, Chevy Fish. So I hope everyone had a good new year. And I hope people don't try and get in on the old link. If they do, I hope they can find the new one. If someone would be kind enough to share the link out to various places, that would be very, very, very well appreciated. Because right now I basically daren't touch the computer. Hey Brian, thanks for finding us. If you'd be a lovely, kind fella that I know you are, would you pop a link into either the Mark's Discord or the aquarium shrimp keeping, because something went wrong and here we are anyway. So, getting stressed, need caffeine. So I thought I was being all clever, getting everything set up early, figuring out how to send out the link to places, and it's not sponsored, so I switched. Hey Sand Creek, good late afternoon, early evening. Thank you very much, Kerry. Hopefully we'll get a few people show up. Thank you very much, Brian. We may get a couple of people turn up now then. Well, so we've got 9 in already. So yes, hope everyone else had a good new year. Either managed to have fun and not get too hungover, or managed to get to bed early enough and not get woken up by the fireworks, which is what happened to me. I went to bed early with every intention of watching Alien World Aquatics this morning, doing his stream. The fireworks started up at 11, went on till about 1, and then we had the drunkards coming home from the pub singing. So, yeah. Yeah. Amateur Aquatics. Tim! I'm going to keep that joke going. Sorry. It's just too funny. So you see, I had the plan, originally the plan was I was going to be on with Scott this morning, but when he remembered that it's actually New Year's, he decided he'd do it with Paige, and no hard feelings there, but I didn't wake up till nearly 7 o'clock because I was kept up till about 1:30. Joy. There weren't any fights around here that I know of, Kerry. They were happy drunks. It wasn't football angry drunks coming home, because then you do get the scraps. Periodic. Yeah, we don't tend to get the shooting in the UK, Chevy. It's more. Oh, we do get quite a few gunshots around here, actually. Oh, hi, Pam. Yes, coffee yourself. Yes, caffeine, nicotine, and plenty of grumbling and rumbling, and you'll be there soon. Don't worry. Um, yeah, as I say, it's the. I'm not entirely sure what the view America has of firearms in the UK. Obviously, as you know, they're very restricted, as it were. But I live in a rural area, so lots of farmers. Farmers have shotguns. You know, people go shooting. The amount of times I've actually been technically hit by a shotgun, you wouldn't want to know. Tom's painting his stand for his 110 and rinsing off pea gravel. That sounds a good way to spend New Year. Inhale plenty of paint fumes, that will clear the hangover. Either that will make it worse. Yeah. It's one of those things. If someone were to ask me to paint the skirting boards, I'd grumble and whine and growl. But when it comes to like painting a fish tank stand, I'll be there with my brush and my roller and getting on with it. Hey, Spunky, how are you? Yeah, it's one of them things. Let's be honest. Are any of us happier than when we're up to our armpits in a fish tank? I don't think we are. Ah, hello, Mr. Zen. How the devil are you, sir? Yeah, I've already got my water changes, etc., done for this week. Finished them off yesterday. Yeah, as I say, it's all birdshot here, so it's not too bad. The times I've been sat there at the lake fishing and had, what do Americans call it, double aught buck rattle off my back. Arm covered in duckweed is a happy arm. Well, it depends on the tank. I've got duckweed in, well, technically 3 of my tanks. I've managed to eradicate it from most. And the ones it's are in, well, 2 of the ones it's in for a good reason. Because they have shrimp in there and shrimp love munching in the duckweed. Does make it a bit of a pig when you've got to take some of the duckweed out because it's clogged the surface, but just use the old comb trick and away we go. And then put it in the sink with some water change water and go through it and root out all the little baby shrimp that are still in there. And then don't use the same comb to comb your hair after and go out and get people looking at you weird. Yeah, I did that. So I had to buy another comb. Yes, I bought a comb for my duckweed. Yes, I'm that weird. Because, yes, I went out with duckweed in my hair, basically. Not the worst thing I've gone out with. No, I'm not a quitter, Chewy. Well, technically I am, because I've quit quite a few things over the years, but oh no, I'll say it's over here. It's kind of a native species, Kerry. It's not in all the waterways. It tends to just be the smaller ponds. Anywhere with decent surface movement doesn't have it. Anywhere with carp in it doesn't have it because the carp just eats it all. Hey Griffin, how you doing? And yeah, hey Chewy. Hey Rod, yeah, lurking is good for me. Feel free to lurk away. It's all view time. Yeah, it is. It's just one of them things. I mean, I wouldn't like to have to go around one of the Great Lakes with a comb to try and get it out. Let's put it that way. Imagine Lake Michigan with duckweed and you're trying to get it out with a comb. Yeah, no thanks. That's just the first one that came to mind, by the way. I don't have any preference for Great Lakes. Well, Alton Broad is quite nice. So, as some of you may have seen, yes, I was there in the 24-hour stream, Kerry. Yes, I decided to blacky it up and take the shirt off for him. I did raise the camera up, so it was just like from there up. I figure nobody wants to see my moves. Hey, Marek, Happy New Year to you. Brian, yes, I have. Me being me, that video I filmed about 2 weeks ago. Pardon me. Speaking of Blackie, burping on stream again. And yeah, it's filled, it's planted. I did a video on it. I filmed it yesterday, so did my usual substrate. It's just got a chunk of wood in it. It's only 10 gallons. There's not room for much more. A few plants. There's a Hygrophila, Polysperma, dwarf sage, Sagittarius subulata, and Cryptocoryne, Petchii, and Willisii, with a random bit of Littorella that I just found, I think, floating around in another tank. Oh, plenty of good carp fishing in Norfolk Amateur Aquatics. I mean, literally 2 miles down the road from me is my local lake, and I caught what was the biggest carp in there about 5 years ago, so it's probably considerably larger now, and that was it was 25-pound common, and I caught that on match float gear. So yes, trying to land a 25-pound carp with a 17-foot match rod, 5-pound line and a 4-pound hook link, with I think it was a size 14 hook with a single grain of corn on it. Fun, not. Took me about 45 minutes to get it in. I was the only one at the lake. Hey, Danny Ken. Yeah, the new tank, as I say, all set up with the plants in it. Did my usual tricks of yeah, it was a good fight. I think my shoulder probably still hasn't recovered. Now I've had days on that lake where it's my local lake. I fished it once or twice a week for several years, and you just get in the zone of a lake, of how it works, how the fish are. So you know where they're going to be, you know what they're going to want to eat on any given day. And I had it for where I was floater fishing in the summer. I was pretty much the only one on the lake catching, and I upset everyone because I was at the point where I was casting out the bait, putting the rod in the rest, going to roll a cigarette, getting halfway through rolling the cigarette, and then having to catch the rod again. So I was sort of shouting, "Oh, will you, for fuck's sake, give me a bloody chance to have a cigarette?" Yes, that upset everyone else. Amber, my lovely, how are you feeling, my sweet? Mwah, mwah. Kisses better. I hope you've had a good nap. Hey, Vinoksky. I'll try and pronounce that. Yes. Yep, it's definitely the phone. Definitely the phone, Chevy Fish. But yeah, so got it all set up yesterday. Was it yesterday? I got it filled up Monday. Did my usual trick of, as I was doing my water changes, clean out my filters into the new tank. No, squeeze out the sponges and get all the gunk in there. Make it all nice and gungy and horrible. Then add some just random bacteria starter, the API quick start, a couple of the aqua pure balls into the filter, then let it all come up to temperature, settle down a bit. Put 5 guppies in there yesterday, 2 females, 1 male, 2 juvenile females. Just to, it's technically cycled, but get things going properly. And yeah, so I put the 5 guppies in there. I now have 19 guppies in there. Literally within an hour, one of them had dropped, and I went for the ones that looked least pregnant out of there. Oh yeah, I know that feeling, Amber, and being a lady, that's probably even more painful. Yes, I can just imagine. But as you see the pictures, I think there's an Australian road safety advert where it's a row of people with the big old seatbelt bruises across them, and then it's a row of the people that weren't wearing their seatbelts. Yes, so glad you're a good girl. I'm assuming it's law now in the States you have to wear a seatbelt whenever you're driving. I think it's the law in the UK that if the engine's running, you've got to have a seatbelt on. Generally, if you don't put your seatbelt on, the car keeps beeping at you until you do. Yeah, so I've not been involved in any kind of bad car accidents. I did hit a car on my motorbike once, but that was minor in super slow speed and on ice, so neither of us were kind of at fault. I think we both locked up. Yeah, sunset platies are cool. Definitely amateur. There's a couple of them in here, and the black and orange ones, which are the babies from the first fish I ever bred, which were platies. Mummy Platy still has a grave outside. Nah, you could use it as a grow out tub, Kerry, no problem. Just stick 1 pregnant female in there, and the next morning take her out. I mean, to me, 5 gallon isn't a big tank. I mean, that there is a 6 gallon. It's got rams in it and celestial pearl danios, and I've had the eggs from the rams. Oh no, colds for Christmas. Yeah, it's that time of year, I'm afraid. And because it's been a lovely, mild, warm winter at Christmas, none of the bugs have been killed off by frosts or freezing conditions. So, so I think the worst accident I ever had involving a car was when I was about 6, and my teacher ran me over. But I just, it's one of those ones where you step out from between parked cars, and I just clicked the wing mirror and fell over. Yeah, everyone's sending love to Amber, because everyone loves Amber, because there's what's not to love. Yep, we don't want to lose anyone, Marek. Fish fam, shrimp fam, we're all the same. Hey Cheryl, how are you, me dearie? So yes, the new tank up and running. Amber is big city betters, amateur aquatics. I'm assuming Joseph's gone into complete freak mode as well, Amber, so you're probably having to deal with him as well, which isn't yeah, but try and stay relaxed and calm. If you can't sleep, then just listen to some random idiot waffle on the internet. That should do the trick. But yeah, just take it easy for a few days, Amber. If you try and do something and your body goes, ow, listen to it. trust me, from an old, broken, and heavily injured person over the years, when your body tells you to stop, stop. Because it will take twice as long to recover otherwise. And that's Dr. Sharpie. You know, I may not have any medical qualifications other than my Cub Scout first aid badge, which means I know how to tie do one of the old shoulder slings the old-fashioned way with a tea towel and things like that. But I've used it more often than not on. Well, there you go, Brian. Stay in bed. Yeah, mine does the same thing. Once I got some eans in me. What is it? It's always the eans that do good for you and the ols that do bad for you. Don't worry, Kerry. You're in the right place for weirdos. I'm as weird as they come. Yeah, so we feel the same for any other member of the Fish fam, Amber, but you're just a little bit lovelier. I was thinking earlier, we see your picture here on your avatar and whatever, and then we see you like last night on Joseph's, was it last night? Sunday night on Joseph's stream. Say last night because I watched it yesterday. With the glasses on and whatever. And it just made me think of the sort of teen movies where you get the bookish librarian type girl with her hair tied up and her glasses on. Everyone just thinks is just dull and boring. And they go to prom and she's got her hair down and glasses off and looks absolutely amazing. But that might just be me. Yeah, I'll pull muscles getting out of bed in the morning, damn it. It's just, yeah. I'm old and broken. It's, yeah, old person pain, yeah. Once you hit a certain age, I think it's basically 40. I know they say that 50 is a new 40, but body-wise, again, it probably depends on what you've done for a living. If you sat behind a desk most of your working life, then yeah, maybe it doesn't happen. But if you've been doing the same kind of work that previous generations did, physical, manual, lifting, shifting on your feet all day, injuring yourself, by the time you get to 40, stuff starts hurting for no apparent reason. Yeah, it's just one of them things. Your eyesight starts to go, you wake up in the morning and things hurt and you have no idea why, and you get to the point where it's more worrying when you wake up and nothing hurts. Like literally, if I woke up in the morning and there was no pain or aching or soreness or wind, anything, if I woke up in the morning, the sun was shining and I felt amazing, I would probably go to the doctors because something would be badly wrong. I mean, even if it was just the fact that I've been 8 hours without nicotine and caffeine, that's bad enough. Yeah, so on that. And I know we've got a couple of Brits watching, so this might actually be appropriate and just generally appropriate for everywhere and everyone. Customer service. Now, there's already one local fish shop I won't go in, and I will name them, Blue Seas in Watton, Norfolk, England, because myself and Mary went in there one day. We'd heard about it, found it on Facebook or something. So, it's fairly local, go have a look. Walked in there, looking around for half an hour. Yes, the marine tanks looked lovely. The tropical tanks were covered in algae and looked terrific. The fish looked healthy enough. Happy New Year, Gary. You right, Burr? 25. Oh, bless you, Amber. Well, unfortunately, sweetie, you're only going to get more aches and pains now. Yeah, we don't want to talk about the cramps, do we, really? Yeah, we went into this shop, had a look around, see what's going on. At the time, I was just after some snails, I think, and maybe a better, or I think I just literally just set up the first flex, got it cycled, and was looking for new and interesting fish to put in there with the neons. And we were in there for half an hour. The only other people in there were the staff, who were talking to each other and completely blanked us for half an hour. Yeah, so we'd never been back there. But that was bad enough. But on Monday, Mary heard about another fish shop that's actually more local to her in Bury St Edmunds in Suffolk, called Home and Garden Aquatics. They got a .co.uk as well. And she went in there, she had a look around. Everything looked, as she said to me, everything looked clean, tidy, well labeled, it looked at a nice place. She's been around enough fish shops for me now to know what you look out for. Now, a bit of algae on a tank isn't a bad thing. The odd dead fish isn't a bad thing. These things happen. Yeah, exactly, Chevy Fish. Take it easy, Amber. Let other people do what they can to help. Don't push yourself. You've got a long way to go yet. And homeandgardenaquatics.co.uk. And I'm going to name and shame them because I don't give a flyer. Especially because of the way they acted. Mary noticed that they had some of the fish I'm after. They had the rams, because I've found the pets at home rams to not be the greatest. They don't last very long, unfortunately. Everything else from my local pets at home does great. I had the Pistogramma agassizii and the Borellii, as well as the McMaster because she remembered and wrote things down so she could remember what they were and let me know. And then she asked if she could take some photos and maybe a little bit of video to show me. And then she mentioned that I have a YouTube channel. And the guy in the shop starts ranting about how the internet has killed the hobby and YouTube has killed the hobby and how pets at home have killed the hobby, and just ranted at her for I guess however long. So what they've done now is, I know not many people watch this. We've got 19 people on at the moment. But that poor customer service. Now, if they'd have just said, sorry, we don't allow that, it's company policy. Fair enough. No one says anything else. It gets forgotten about. I go have a look myself. I get the fish I want. Everyone's happy. But because they ranted at Mary, my girlfriend, they basically had a go at me by saying that he's a YouTuber. No, YouTube is bad. They say, people don't come to the shop anymore to ask questions. They just go online. Well, yeah, if you're going to bloody act like that, nobody's going to come into the shop. It's one of those things where if you're going to act like an absolute arse, people aren't going to go back to your shop. It's that simple. Or they're going to get their information elsewhere, go in there, go, want that one, or that one, and not say anything else to you because they just want that one fish. Yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem if a shop doesn't allow filming. I can understand if I want to go to my local Pets at Home chain store, equivalent to Petco or whatever. I can understand if they say no, it's company policy, we don't allow it. You know, because they're members of the public, blah blah blah, children, whatever. Just do it politely, do it nicely. Okay, see you later, Danny Kin. Have fun yourself. Exactly. The internet is there to be a source of information. You know, okay, yeah, but you know, the people in the shop, are they up to date with the latest information? I mean, I go into my local Pets at Home, and the guy I normally deal with, their fish guy Mike, absolute star. Got to give him a shout out. Pets at Home Thetford. If you're ever in there and you see Mike, say hi from me. And if he wants to know something, he asks. You know, the other day he had a customer ask him something he wasn't entirely sure, so he said to me, "Do you know?" Fortunately, I did. I can't remember what it was about now. I think it was goldfish. Randomly, I knew about goldfish, and I've never kept any. I might have actually, probably from watching one of Pam's videos about goldfish, I heard that. So there we go. Thank you, Pam. You've saved a goldfish in the UK. Someone I don't know and you don't know. No, they aren't. They see, again, I hate saying things like big channels and small channels. They probably see the big, you know, the glitzy, wow, look at this, awesome, amazing, wow, look at this. Now, quick cut to this and this and this. And go, huh? Look at that. Off. That's rubbish. Rather than watch, you know, a more specific kind of channel. You know, it's, but yeah, so they've cost themselves my custom. They cost themselves Mary's custom because, you know, she's down the line when she gets things sorted out and everything. You know, she may well get herself a fish tank. Well, she's not going to go there anymore. So that's at least two customers they've cost themselves, one of whom would probably spend quite a bit of money in there. And as I say, any of you guys who maybe were thinking of visiting or buying from them online, that's homeandgardenaquatics.co.uk in Bury St Edmunds. Don't. No, the internet can work for negatives as well as positives. Yeah, so that's my New Year's rant anyway. But it seems getting a good idea now on what is around locally. I think I've been to pretty much all of them now, and I've got my favourites. One of which most members of the public would probably go in and go, ew, it's kind of dark and dingy and the floor's wet and it's a bit tight and it's not very pretty. Yeah, they're always fun, Marrett. I don't know, I'll just check Google. My New Year's resolutions, Brian. Find a job. That's it, mate. That's find a job and breed more fish. How's that sound? I don't normally do them. Yeah. These are hardy fish, and you look at it, you go, that's a line-bred guppy. That's not hardy. See that dull grey boring one with a bit of colour in its tail? That one's hardy. That pink, yellow, and orange one with the massive fins, that ain't hardy. It's a guppy. Yeah, they're completely different. Same species, same base genetics, but one's been inbred so much it comes from Norfolk. Sorry, Gary, if you're still there. Yeah, it's one of the in-jokes in the UK about Norfolk is that everyone has 6 fingers and webbed feet. If I could get sponsored by Red Bull or Monster, Brian, I would be quite happy. I mean, even if it just saved me the cost of having to buy cans. Admittedly, I'll get them as part of a. Yeah, I'll drink either, Brian. Don't bother me. Whichever one decides to sponsor me. Say, you know. Hey Ness, how you doing? Yeah, these people just stuck in their little world of their one book from the 1970s. A bit like the guy who tried to fish police me yesterday as well about the guppies in the new tank. He said, guppies in an uncycled tank. That means dead guppies. I didn't say whether it was cycled or uncycled. You have no idea what I've done to get this tank up and running. Yeah, you're just coming across like an arse. Then he came across like that. No, you must fish. You must do the fishless cycle. It only takes about 2 months. I'm like, yeah, you can do a fish-in cycle with gunk out your filter, and it takes about a week. And it's prettier to look at, and you get extra guppies out of it. You know, easy enough. Hey Leah. Don't know if you've been here before. Can't remember. Too many years of smoking too many illicit substances and my short-term memory's shot. My opinion about pothos: if you have tanks which you can grow pothos out of, go for it. I think the leaves are toxic for some animals like cats. So I would have thought as long as you keep the leaves out of the water, you shouldn't have a problem. But all my tanks have lids that having plants growing out of them would just make life really awkward. Oh no, Leah. Oh, I'm sorry. That sucks. Have they done like a pipe cleanse or something? I'm guessing you're 2 parts per million ammonia. Jeez. That really sucks hard. I mean, it was bad enough for me last summer. Was it last summer or summer before? I can't remember. But yeah, my tap water was coming out about 140 parts per million nitrate. So yeah, I'm sorry. Not that it's going to do you any good, but yeah, I'll say it's one of those things where where pothos probably depends on the tank, what you got in it. I mean, I suppose if you've got something like a fluval flex where you've got the separate compartments in the back, you could grow the pothos out of the back and the fish wouldn't be able to get to it. But we do have the pothos queen here in the chat, Amber. I mean, she has all the pothos. Did you empty the entire hotel out, Amber, or did you leave some? You know, most people go to a hotel to stay and they nick the towels, the bathrobes, and the slippers, or like the soap and stuff. Amber nicks the plants. Oh, 0GH. Oh, yeah. My water generally comes out the tap around. It's around 16 kh and about 20 GH. Hi Nola, how are you? Well, I was saying last stream, it's a chalk and flint bedrock around here, so you can chew the water pretty much. Now, if I were to clean my Well, if I was to try and clean my tank with tap water, I would make it dirtier than with tank water. Yeah. When is it? I think that's some of the algae growing. Yeah. I would. So something that's got a separate compartment you could grow the pothos in would be safe, but I would have thought if you know, perhaps if you've just got any fish in there that do eat plants, it could cause problems. Yeah, I'll have a look later, Leah. Again, sorry. Yeah, I say, Chew, it's one of those things where you can look at findings, and well, I mean, it all depends on who you are and how much scientific analysis you have. But I find that, you know, I can look at something and go, yeah, that makes sense to me. Or I can look at someone and go, yeah, nah, that don't make sense. Like Biohome Ultimate, you know? You know, how one form of media can be so much better than any other form of media. You must use this. Hell no, I ain't paying that much for broken glass, basically, or the slag from glass manufacturing. Let's be honest, that's what it is. Hey, Select Pet, Scotty G. Um, I think I do need to have a rant video about media at some point. All that you need X amount of pound or kilos of this, you know, to cycle your tank properly. No. Or if you do it properly, it gets rid of all the nitrates, so you don't have to do water changes. Yeah, you do. You do still have to do water changes because the fish, the plants, the snails, shrimps, microfauna, microflora need the nutrients and the minerals that are in the fresh water. And if you leave the same water in there, they run out of them. Shock horror. Yeah. Water changes isn't just flushing your... It's basically flushing the toilet for your fish tank. But you know, there's more to it than just nitrates. Let's put it that way. The nitrogen cycle isn't the be-all and end-all of fish keeping. Yeah, it's not something that people know everything about. You know, there aren't exactly millions of dollars being pumped into testing what plants are safe for aquariums. Yeah, I'll say there's that to it too, Kerry. Although, you know, as Leah has recently found out, to her cost, unfortunately, some, you know, back in the day, as it were, they didn't put the stuff in the water to do what they did. It was just water. Yeah. So if it's back a store Chevy fish, you don't know if it's actually RODI or whether they've just filled it up out the tap. Yeah, I'll say there's things to be said for using the new tech, but there's also things to be said for just developing a feel for things yourself and keeping it simpler. You know, I mean, if you just do a pH, if I were to do pH test in there in the morning and a pH test in the evening, they would be different, right? No way about it. It'd be different results. And if you're going, I need pH 6.8 for this fish, it's come out at 7.2. My fish are gonna, no, it's fine. Because in the wild, every time it rains, every time it doesn't rain for a couple of days, and the water evaporates, pHs swing up and down. hardness and softness swing, the concentration of everything else swings, temperature swings. Yeah, that's it. Damn, thought things like RODI systems were expensive in the UK. I think I think we can get them off Amazon for, I think the semi-decent one's about 100, maybe 200, and it's just fitting it. I just don't like the idea of basically pouring water down the drain and not being used for something. Yeah, I like watching and learning from the new school, the higher tech methods, and learning about that. And I like watching the old school stuff. I like Dwayne Kitchell, Father Fish, keeping it simple, doing it the old-fashioned way, and then like combining the two, figuring out why that works a certain way and why that works a certain way, and coming to my own conclusions. So yeah, learn as much as you can and then figure it out. Watching it is one thing, actually learning it is another. Yeah, wet and dry season everywhere. It's, when people say discus need 100% water change every other day, they need pH, I don't know the numbers, so 6.5, the temperature has to be 86 degrees or they will die. Nah. These are people who keep, probably the reason why it happens like that is they keep the tank too clean. Yeah, exactly. Stability. If you want to increase your pH, say you live in a soft water area and you want to keep African cichlids and you need harder water, do it slowly. Add crushed coral, aragonite, limestone, cuttlefish bone, chalk. Heck, chalk is pure calcium. Heck, even a great ornament, an animal skull, bones, something like that. Oh, hang on, Select Pet. I might have some questions to ask you about Shelleys. Now, if you want to soften the water, like me, you live in a really hard water area, and you want it softer, then you add botanical things, things that are going to break down and produce tannic acids or other kinds of organic acids and compounds. So wood, plants, leave poop in the gravel. Now, all these things break down into acids, which pulls down the hardness of the water. Again, it's not rocket science, but people want instant results from dumping a chemical into the tank. I tried it when I started. I wanted to lower the pH in there, so I got some pH down. I measured it out, I put it in, and oh, yeah, my pH has come down. I measured it the next day, gone back up again. Because there's that much buffer in the water that you're chasing a pH value that just you're not going to get. And let's be honest, if you're buying fish from a shop, aside from a few certain species like ropefish, Happy New Year, Bob, how the devil are you, sir? Unless you're buying certain species of fish like ropefish, which are, yeah, I may have messed things up, Chewy, but hey, you kind of got the gist of what I was on about anyway. Where was I? But yeah, so things like ropefish, which are all wild caught, or something else that's all wild caught, then yeah, you're going to have to be a bit careful on the numbers. But if you're buying something, especially something that's locally bred, it's going to be used to your local water conditions. It's not going to take many generations for them to make that adjustment, and yep, driftwood helps bring it down. Because you can make one adjustment, as it were, per generation, and the speed at which fish generally go through generations means they can adapt to changes far quicker than we can. So you'd probably find that most of the sort of hobby bred discus, I think Discus Hands was even saying it, like, you know, they don't need what the wild ones need, because over the years we've been gradually getting them into harder water and into cooler water, and if you try putting them in their wild conditions, it'd probably be worse for them. But yeah, generally, yeah, so with zero GH, Kerry, I think you probably would need to add some kind of buffer in there, because with none in there, the pH can swing wildly. I would say probably a bag of crushed coral in there somewhere. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you do have to chase the numbers, but unless you really know what you're doing, don't go for those fish. Simple. Because those fish are going to be expensive fish. And if you don't really know what you're doing, you're going to kill them. So, you know. Now, try not to sound controversial, Sharp, because we all love all our fish. You know, whatever they are, we love them. They're our fish. We care for them. We look after them. Right. But if you spend £2 or £3 or dollars, hey, Big J, on a guppy, right, you're not too fussed if the guppy dies. It's still sad, but man, it's a guppy. You spend 80, 90 quid on a discus or something like that, and it dies, you're really peed off, and you're out of a lot of money. So that's just it, Sherry. If you can find things local, they will do so much better in your tank, which I think is probably why the local wholesaler wanted my shrimp. Crushed coral, crushed oyster shells, yeah, they'll both do the same thing. They'll bring the hardness up, which will add buffering to the water, which will then bring the pH up. It's GH being general hardness, KH being carbonate hardness, pH being potential hardness, I believe. Which is why I have some strange numbers in my tanks. Now, so most are running around pH 6.8, but they're running like GH 13 and KH 20, or the other way around, GH 20 and KH 13. You know, it's so I don't have to add anything to bring the hardness back up. Back in the day, all we had were pH strips. Yep. Actually, I remember litmus paper at school. Yeah, crushed eggshells. Anything that's got plenty of calcium in it will raise the hardness. People that say you should never put limestone in a tank. Well, if you're looking to increase the hardness, limestone is probably the best thing to put in there. Dolomite, yeah, that'll do it as well. Or Montmorillonite. Hi Angie. How are you? Happy New Year to you. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily put milk in the tank though, Brian. So you got loads of calcium in the water, but nothing else, right? That sounds a bit weird. Yes, but hey, we've all got different water, so what works for me may not work for anyone else unless they live in the same town. You know, it's less sodium. I'm all for more sodium. I like having plenty of salt in my diet. Yeah, so the other thing I was thinking about is, we all see the best fish for a 5 gallon, best fish for a 10 gallon, best fish for this tank, that tank, best fish for a community, best algae eaters, blah, blah, blah. What would you put on a list of, let's say 5, because that's plenty to be going on with, the 5 best beginner fish? I mean, basically they've got to be pretty, hardy, thrive in a wide range of conditions, be friendly, not overly aggressive, and work as part of a community. So yeah, white clouds would be cool, but what could you keep with them? Okay, there's certain species of Corydora that prefer cooler water. Other people would say pop a goldfish in there. Yeah, endlers. Yeah, endlers definitely above normal guppies because they haven't been so inbred yet. Yeah, also I can understand white clouds being banned in certain places because they do breed easily. Yeah, platies, danios, white clouds, bristlenoses. That's pretty much 4 of my list, Rod. There's a there's one more that you're missing. One more I think all of us love. There's a couple of swimming around in here. And I sold 30 of them the other day. Crebensis. That's one of my definite beginner fish. It's mollies. Yeah. I've not kept mollies, but they're basically just bigger platies. I think there's not much more to it. Yeah, I'd say rod cribs. They're super pretty. I mean, you look close up at a crib and catch it in the light, and they're absolutely stunning creatures. Go away, pop up. They're friendly. They get on well with everyone. They don't need special conditions, special foods. They'll eat anything. Yeah, that sucks, Chewy. That sucks, Chewy. Yeah. And the only time you'll get any aggressiveness out of cribs is if, like me, you got 2 females or 2 males, and that's just getting a bit defensive over territories. Or when they got babies and then they chase the other fish off, they don't attack them. Yeah, I say. Yeah, exactly, fish, little stripy fish tigers. Yeah, so harassed everything in the tank, but they didn't attack anything. They just got it away from their eggs and fry. That's what they did. I mean, in my case, the female killed the male, but they decided to breed it in a 5-gallon quarantine tank. So not overly surprised that happened, and that's the reason the female is called Pam. Um, so we never know who we're going to learn something from, or someone might just say something that makes you just twig something. You go, or I wonder. Then you can start putting your own facts and theorems and hypotheses together. It's one of my favourite things to do. The African butterfly cichlid, similar. Oh, excuse me, to the crib. Is it the Anomalochromis? No, although they are more aggressive than the cribensis. Although mine seem to suck quite badly because there's still a shrimp running around in that tank. Yes, there's a cherry shrimp in a tank with a pair of African butterfly cichlids, and it's not been eaten yet. Every month or so, I'll find a molt. Yeah, so again, time difference thing, so I don't get to watch Dan live unless I really get up at stupid o'clock in the morning, i.e. insomnia kicks in badly. But I'll watch the replays, always pick up a little bit of info. Normally makes me think, oh, I want to buy that fish. This is the problem again. See, being in the UK, I see the American streams and see all these wonderful fish that I could just order from Dan or Bob or whoever, but I can't. And I think it's that the UK is a bit behind in that regard when it comes to that, because if say I think Pro Shrimp or Tropco, if they had a YouTube channel, it would probably drive their sales up monumentally. But because nobody, now you go to the website and you just see a picture of a fish, or if you're lucky, maybe a little bit of video. Whereas if you saw, you want to order fish from Dan, you can go watch his channel and you can look at those fish swimming around and you can see whether those fish are healthy and happy. Well, from Dan, they're going to be. Yeah, it costs an arm and a leg in the UK to the UK Marriott. Most time, it may not sound a lot, but it's I think generally it's £15 minimum shipping, which I'm not buying rare and expensive fish. So I mean, the only thing now that I would possibly, if I couldn't get locally, which I probably can, would be a pair of epistogrammas. And even then, at sort of £25-30, you're adding half the cost of the fish in shipping. Whereas I can get the bus up to Norwich for £4.80 and get them when and where I'm ready, rather than order them and then they're going to turn up this day. Oh crap! I'm working or I'm out or. Alrighty, ho, Brian. Have a good night, bud. Don't snore too much. Oh, you got the community tab open, Bob. Nice. Best way to find out the names of fish. Friend gave me. Didn't know what they were. I don't know. Tropical. Probably your best bet, Spunky, would be to take some pictures and post them on a Facebook group and just ask. Ones that are really good, I would number one recommend aquarium group support if you're not in that group. Then Tank Talk, Fish Tubers Notification Squad is a great one to be in. And I'm sure if there are Yeah, no worries, Brian. Catch you later, bud. I think Mark might be streaming on Friday again, so I'll see you there. What else? Where was I? I lost track. I know why I lost track. It's because I need to drain the veins. So if you'll bear with me for about a minute or so, I've got to go take a pee because I've nearly finished my Red Bull. And back in the mo. That might be an issue, Spunky. Quick hand wash, and we're back. You can post a video. Oh, I've missed some stuff, haven't I? Yeah. So the only other thing I could think of, Spunky, would be go on to Google image search and just type in popular tropical fish and scroll through until you find pictures that look like what you've got. Yep. And you know, the really annoying thing about that, Chewy, is I live in a country that allows me to have a snakehead. There's somewhere local that's got an adult dwarf snakehead for sale for a really good price, and I've got nowhere to put one. Yeah, it was a not sure the exact species, Chewy, but it's an adult dwarf snakehead, and they wanted £22.50. I don't know what that works out to in dollars US or Canadian doll hairs. Yeah, nature finds a way. It does. You look at some of the things that have just evolved randomly. Hey, Scott B. Hey, Alice. How are you, sweetie pie? Oh, yeah. Mwah. Yeah, nature always finds a way around these problems. I'm good, thank you, Alice. How are you? I say nature always finds a way around the problems. Sometimes it evolves itself into such a small niche that it basically makes itself extinct. Giant pandas, for example, they evolved into such a tiny niche that they wouldn't be here if it wasn't for us. But because they're big, cute, and furry and cuddly, yeah. Oh, thank you, Select Pet. Yeah, if anyone can probably identify them, Bob would be a good bet. No, naps are important, Alice. You got to have your nap. I had a good nap as well. Just me and Zach snuggled up on the sofa. Him snoring away like a good one. I say snoring because he snores on the way in and purrs on the way out. Yeah, naps rock. That's another thing you notice, especially when you turn 40. One of the things you really appreciate is a good nap. Oh, damn it, I'm out of cigarette filters. Back in 5 seconds ish, depending how long it takes me to stand up. Oh, phew, there are some left in the box. Yeah, naps for the win, definitely. Yes. So generally sleep, I do have to actually lay down to fall asleep. So thankfully, I tend not to fall asleep in the old armchair very often. Although, funny story about falling asleep. A few years back, I was going through a rather spectacular bout of insomnia, where I was generally managing 1, 2, maybe 3 hours sleep a night, then working full time, and so pretty much zombie. And I went up to Norwich to visit the model shop and get a few things. And on the way back, because I went on the train, because that particular hobby shop is right next to the train station, so rather than walk a couple of miles, I thought I'll pay an extra £3 and walk a couple of 100 yards. And on the way back, I thought, while I'm here at the train station, I'll just have a quick trip to the loo. And got woken up about an hour later by someone knocking on the door, checking I was okay, because I was snoring on the train station toilet. I saw James's video on the Project Piaba Aqueon tank. Oh, yay! Marritt's got all the little ones back. Well, is that a yay or a balls? Yeah, so I'm just glad I did it in the train station, not on the train, Kerry, because otherwise I could have ended up in London. I'd have fallen asleep on the train. I'd have probably ended up somewhere between Cambridge and London when I woke up. I'll say the Project Viaba starter kit looks good. I mean, I'm not sure whether it works out expensive for what you get or what it is. Obviously, I know basically subtract 10% off of the price, because that's what's going to Project Piaba, I think. And Aqueon aren't going to lose out on profit. No, it's a company. That's what they do. They don't lose out on profit. Oh, pancakes. Oh, send us one, Marriott. What was it? Was it $180? Something like that for was it 20-gallon with 20-gallon with the light, the pump, or the filter, the heater, the substrate, some wood, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's probably they get all the publicity. Yeah, it's probably not a bad price when you look at what you do actually get in there. But it kind of seems sort of comparable to English prices. As I said, if you saw the video of my new tank, let's say 10 gallon, and they're going for 85. So is that about $100? Maybe a little bit more. So yeah, it's probably a pretty good deal compared to UK prices. But yeah, you're doing, and you know, you got your $20 back on the fish from if you buy the Piaba fish, and there's a couple of other vouchers in there as well for money off things. So yeah, I'll say it's. I mean, RRP on that 10 gallon I got is 85 with it, but you know, that comes with filter, light, filter and lights. They messed up and put a heater in mine. 90 back to it. Yeah, so about $5 for every single one they sell goes to Project Piaba. Yeah, but hey, $5 is $5. Yeah, as long as they aren't African cichlids. Yeah. Yeah, don't go setting up your Blackwater Project Piaba tank and then trying to get money back off of yes. Yeah, I mean, no, I wouldn't blame them. I don't blame Aquion for it at all. You know, they're a company. I'm assuming they've got shareholders that they've got to keep happy. So for them passing on a little bit of money to Project Piaba, which, you know, let's be honest, a little bit of money can make a lot of difference. You know, especially if they sell thousands of the things. It's just the way of the world these days, unfortunately. Whether they'll come out over here, I don't know. If they do, I hope I'm working by then, because I probably would like to buy one, so I can do my bit to support Project Piaba and have a little Blackwater tank. Well, I say little. 20 gallon is quite a large tank for me. Actually, speaking of which, as Select Pet is here and I know has shell dwellers, 15 gallon fluval flex for multifasciatus, yay or nay? Sorry, Neolamprologus multifasciatus. Multis. Oh yeah, they get tax breaks for being carbon neutral. Yeah. And the trees they plant are not going to be things like oaks. Oh yeah, but how? Okie doke. So how many would you get? Now bear in mind that hopefully they're going to breed. So this is the thing: they plant a tree, but you can guarantee it'll be a fast-growing pine or something like that that can then be harvested in 10, 20 years. Yeah. No worries, Spunky. Hope to see you again. Enjoy your chores, as it were. Okie doke. Yeah, they're such pretty little fishies, and I figure I've got the water for them. I've got hard water, and the flex, you know, with all the pump and everything being hidden out of the way. You know, what pump? I say pump because it hasn't got one thing filter, has it? It's got the pump and the sponge separate, so bubbies wouldn't get sucked up into the filters. They'd probably make their way into the back of the tank, but you know, minor problem. Yeah, it's just one of those things that's whirling around in my head. Oh, pardon me. Same as possibly turning that into another shrimp tank. Although, you know, we'll see how we go. I'm going to have to probably get a job before I can start doing things like that. 4, 5, and 15. Lots of shells. Yep. Fair enough. I'm sure I can manage that. Yeah, it's just a couple of bags of sand rinsed out, dump them in there. A couple of rocks, chucking a bunch of escargot shells. Does it have to be, or could you go for another kind of shell if they were available, like whelk shells or whatever, as long as it's got that kind of hidey hole in it. Yeah, something to add to my list of things to do when I've got the money to do them. Yeah, so I've already got a couple of grow out tubs ready anyway, as long as one of them's clear if I need to. I'll say I've still got 30 or 40 crib fry in the 10-gallon grow out bucket. This grow out bucket technically is empty. It's got 4 nerite snails in there. It's cycled, it's got stuff in it, living, growing, that kind of stuff. So I figure I'll dump the nerite snails in there for now until the new tank is starting to grow some algae or biofilm or whatever, you know, bit of waste. So there's something for them to eat. Use any showing, fitting and caves too. Yep. Oh, I think we'll do some videos on dwarf snakeheads. I would love to, Chewy. I don't know anyone who has them. And it's safe to say I know more people in Norway that keep fish and shrimp than I do in the UK, pretty much. Or locally, anyway. There isn't exactly a Norfolk fish keeping group on YouTube or Facebook. I mean, I know a few modelers local to me. I guess a bit weird when you walk in it. You walk into a shop, model store, and you're just wandering around and looking at stuff, and you know, YouTube, the ISM Friday Night Live show, Facebook, whatever. So you're dealing when you're talking to people all the time. Fine. You get to know either, especially if you just get to know a YouTube name from the chat, and you don't actually meet them or see them, but they know what you look like. They know you. Now, I'm not claiming fame or I get recognized all the time. I have to cover my face. But yeah, when you get someone just randomly walk up, oh, you're right, Sharpie, and you go, no. Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. You have to try and figure out who they are. Yeah. Well, Chewy, I'll see what I can do. If I find someone that is keeping snakeheads, I shall ask them a bunch of questions. See if I'll do it in a video format. If not, I'll just do it via Messenger or on Facebook or something, and then write it down and then talk about it. Yeah. Hey Dan, how you doing, matey? Happy New Year to you too. Success and blessings. I wouldn't necessarily call myself an inspirational fish keeper. I generally work on the line of I'm a walking how not to do things kind of example. Yeah. Oh yeah, the amount of people who don't realise piranhas are related to neon tetras, and yeah. But why am I neon tetras nipping the fins of my other fish? There's a Miniature piranhas. They got like 3 rows of teeth in there. I mean, I've seen neons eat shrimplets. I've seen neons take chunks out of betters' fins. I mean, I've woken up to see a neon swimming up behind a better and going, hum. The first time I saw shrimp fry was in my first tank, Platy Farm as it was. And I was like, yes, shrimp fry, shrimplet, shrimplet, shrimplet. Hum. Oh, there we go. Neon edit. Yeah, I'll say dwarf snakeheads are a completely different fish to the. Everyone kind of panicked about the giant snakeheads coming in and eating everything. Yeah, you're not the only one. No, I do get social anxiety, but no, we're among friends with the fish fam. Welcome back, Amber, sweetie. Yeah, Dan, we're among friends. Right, the fish fam. If you get something wrong, they might go, "Yeah, you got that wrong, dude." That's it. You know, nothing to be worried about. You've got the screen and this camera thingy in between each other, so there is that separation if you're worried about anxiety things. But yeah, I've seen your videos, Dan. You can do it. We need more English fish tubers. Because I think, is it just me and MD? What Mark does as well. I'll say he's English. He's Scottish. Get that right. In Norway. I don't do well in crowds. If you see me out and about anywhere other than in Attleborough, and that's only because I lived here 20 years and I know most of the people, or at least recognise them. If I go up to Norwich, I've got my headphones on and my head down, so I can't hear or see what's going on around me, because otherwise I'd freak out. It's. I mean, I hope she wouldn't mind me saying, because I think she's quite open about it. But Dee from Down the Wormhole, she suffers with anxiety as well. Yeah. The classic, we'll introduce this as a food fish. Oh, it's eating everything else. Whoops. What can we introduce to eat the food fish? Yeah, until you end up with saltwater crocs and bull sharks in the local lakes, which is pretty much the logical extension of that. I will look at that later, Leah. Again, so sad for you. And again, man, all my plecos are basically, well, I say plecos, they're just bristle noses. Nothing expensive. There's some very pretty bristle noses. Oh, thank God for that, Leah. Well done. Well done. So mine are just bristle noses. A couple of commons, a sunshine, and a longfin super red, which they're the pretty versions of bristle noses, but they're still bristle noses. Nothing like a zebra pleco or a green phantom or a blue phantom or snowball or anything like that. So I wouldn't trust myself to buy expensive fish. So catfish. Yeah, that's. Also, I think The only real invasive fish, as it were, we have issues with in the UK is the goldfish, simply because people dump them in local lakes and rivers, or lakes and ponds, and then they breed with the normal carp, which are actually an invasive species anyway, that they were introduced for food by the monks in the 16th century. Which then obviously escaped. So then they're a naturalized invasive species. They're not doing any damage. What do you mean, like what we'd call the common perch, the Percafluviatilis, Leah? They're lovely little fishies. Well, until they start eating everything in sight. Yeah, there's which armored catfish are they, Dan? I've not heard of any. Well, I've not heard of any issues around here anyway. You know, if they're a soft water species, they wouldn't like the local rivers and lakes around here anyway. You can pretty much walk across them even when they're not frozen. Yeah, so that's some of the things that really shock me hearing about. Generally, America in particular, it seems. Yeah, I'll say is that silver carp? It's not the standard common carp, is it? It's not the Cyprinus carpio. It's another one of the cyprinid family. Yes, Sharpie breaking out the scientific and Latin names for the English native species. Oh yeah, ants are awesome creatures. Except when it gets to summertime here and they start coming indoors, then you have to get the ant spray out. Pike and walleye. Yes. Chewy, do you know the scientific name for the walleye? Because I've got a funny feeling we call it a zander over here, or a pike perch. It'd be what was it? Stitzostedion lucia perca? Or Lucio or Lucio perca. Because, yeah, we have those. They aren't actually native to the UK. Not many of them. I say the biggest problem with the goldfish being released is they will inbreed with the native crucian carp, which is actually getting endangered. The Carassius auratus. Yeah, yes, I did. I was supposed to be revising for, was it a history exam one day at high school? And yeah, I just sat and learnt all the scientific names for the English freshwater fish. Never thought it had actually come in useful. Certainly came in more useful than learning about some of the things. Yes, I'm not the cleanest or tidiest amber, so I'll empty that, well, drink it, chuck it in the bin, and then it will be there a few days, or until until the bin's full, basically. Until we're at Simpsons point where you put something else in there and something else will fall out. That's when I empty the bin. So yeah, I've got like sugary cans laying around. So if ants are about, I get inundated. So I kind of have to. It's just like a spray-on lacquer type thing you put on where they're coming in, and it's kind of contact toxic. It's not one of the ones they take back to the nest. It just kills the ones that are trying to come indoors. So they're pretty smart little creatures. They soon learn and they stay away from it. Yes, we know you have a deep deep phobia of spiders, Amber. I'm the same with water. I know I keep fish. I have tanks. If the bath is now, if I have to get out of the bath halfway through to answer the phone or go to the loo or whatever, if the water's cloudy, I can't get back in the bath. I know it's like that deep, right? I can't get back in it. Grubs in the area. Yeah. Have you got any chicken farms local, Dan? Because that's a surefire source of maggots, anyway. When I lived on a chicken farm, we had a coal bunker at the end of the drive. No, I mean, this is a couple of 100 yards away from the house, so yeah, it's okay. And that was where all the dead birds got put, so we just used to raid it for maggots for fishing. But yeah, I'm not a fan of spiders either. I do tend to kill on sight. My dad or Chewie's dad? Oh yeah, chickens are cool. And they're pretty much the closest thing to a dinosaur most of us are going to keep as a pet, probably. Yeah. And they'll definitely keep the bugs and the spider numbers down, Amber, as well. Carpenter ant larva, yeah. Yeah, I'll say pretty much any kind of insect or bug is going to be good food for fish. Pygmy goats, they're cool. I think the coolest goat has to be the fainting goat, though. They're just awesome. How do you evolve a creature that's response to threat is to just pass out? I mean, admittedly, the shepherds used to keep one with the flocks of sheep, one or two fainting goats. Purely because if the wolves came after the sheep, then the goats would faint and they would get eaten instead of the sheep, which are worth more money. It's obviously food and wool. Ground around. Yeah, it hasn't quite frozen up where you are yet, has it, Dan? So you might be able to do that. And I would avoid anything in pine trees, because if they've been eating pine, then that could be a bit toxic. But yeah, fainting goats, they're just hilarious. There's the old fisherman's trick, Dan, of getting hold of a beef heart. This is going to sound pretty gross, and pretty much only works during spring and summertime. Beef heart in a metal tin, pop a few holes in the top, and just stick it somewhere outside, shaded so it doesn't get full of water, and just leave it, and the flies will find it and lay eggs in it, and you'll have all the maggots you could ever want. Hey Scott, how you doing? Sorry I missed you this morning, buddy. New Year's issue with fireworks and drunk people keeping me awake until silly in the morning, and then by the time I woke up, you'd been finished for an hour. So hopefully next week, if we can get our days figured out. I think we both messed up which day was which. Yeah, hamburger, that'll do it. I mean, Chewy, I've got, you know, I think I'd probably be glad to get out of music about the time Nickelback turned up. Oh yeah, Florida, plenty of ants. Yeah. Oh, I think we got pretty much 3 species that I ever see. We got the red ant, the black ant, and the wood ant. And the red ants are the ones that bite you, the little buggers. Fortunately, it's the black ants I get around here. Yeah, the village idiots. I should have stuck with that name, I reckon. Hi, Crystal. Happy New Year and hello to you. Hope you had a good Christmas and New Year. Not too hungover. Oh yeah, wasp larvae. Yeah, you've got to use small hooks with either micro barbs or no barbs, and then don't cast them. Basically, underarm swing or fish in the margins. You'd be amazed how many people forget that fish use all the water in a lake. They did get to #1, but so did Joe Dolce with Shut Up Your Face. And no accounting for taste. Yeah. Oh well. Get well soon, Crystal. Yes. I think my feelings on Nickelback are fairly well known. However, I might not have made it over to the States or been very popular stateside or the other side of the Atlantic. Sorry to Canadian friends. The Manic Street Preachers. If you've not heard it, especially Chewy, check out the album The Holy Bible. That is absolutely awesome. I mean, it's it's not going to put you in a good mood, but my moss balls are getting huge. Yeah, pass. Can you trim a moss ball with scissors? Can you give it a haircut, as it were? I don't know. I've never kept moss balls in my tanks. Well, that's a lie. I did buy some once, but they just died, got eaten. Yeah, they got eaten. Yeah, they got eaten by the platies because they are just algae, really. And we all know how much platies love to eat air. Teeth in. We all know how much platies love eating hair algae. So, yeah, that's what happened to my moss balls. They got munched. Major concert work to the pair company. Yes, split it in half and have a moss dome. Yeah. Bad stuff does happen to good people, Chewy. It's shame, but it does happen. Yeah. one of those things that stops me from believing in higher powers. Yes, it's how some absolutely obnoxious, idiotic, annoying, sadistic, psychotic people can go through life with nothing going wrong, and then perfectly nice, normal, friendly, happy, intelligent, smart, helpful people get bad stuff happen to them all the time. Yeah, that tells me I can't believe in certain things. I believe in plenty of other stuff. Um, like I say, as I've said before, how do you feel about big YouTubers trying to catch wild fish in aquariums? Um, it's no, if you've got the money to be able to afford to do it, if you think it's going to generate enough views for your channel to pay for it, is one way of looking at it. The other way is, I mean, if you're referring to like when Corey, Dean, and Dwayne and Joseph and then go to Peru, you know, they're not doing any damage to the local ecosystem with the amount of fish they're taking. You know, and as we know, I think Amber, is Joseph the only person breeding those blue tetras? You know, if they find something rare and they breed it and bring it into the hobby, that's a great thing. But yeah, I'd like to think that most fish keepers are smart enough to not take themselves off to the Amazon and try and bring back thousands of fish. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, okay, he's just starting, but once Joseph gets those numbers up, he'll be selling those fish, and that will be the only place any of us can get them from until someone else. Yeah, as I don't know if people are aware, the red-tailed shark that is extinct in the wild. That only exists in the aquarium hobby now. I mean, just think of that as one of the most popular fish. It's one of those things that virtually everyone's had or has. Right? You go to you go to the fish store, you got your first tank. If you haven't done your research, and you see this little cute little sharky type thing with a red tail, and you get one. And there's tanks full of them. Every single hobby or fish store you go to, it's probably got a tank full of red-tailed black sharks. Yep, there you go. So exactly. I mean, big props to Joseph for managing that, definitely. I think my biggest claim to fame is I'm the only person in my street breeding bristlenose plecos. Yeah, well, yeah, I never had one either, Scott. But yeah, it's just as an example, like of one of those fish that most people have had at some point. And you go to the shop, there's tanks full of them. Pretty much wherever it is, they've got a tank full of juvenile red-tailed sharks, and then you know, that's the only place they exist. They're not in the wild anymore. Well, technically. Too much illegal mining of mercury is. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, they're a mean, miserable fish. I mean, they're fine when they're little, but as they grow bigger, they get more and more aggressive. And then you know what happens? They either get released into the wild or taken back to the pet shop that then has to either keep them for the rest of their life or find someone who will reown them. and then that doesn't work for anyone. But without them being in the fish hobby, they wouldn't exist anymore. Yeah, the mercury in the mining, and the other chemicals they use to then extract the gold from the mercury, which is things like nitric acid. Is it nitric? There's nitric and sulfuric acid as well, which produces a whole lot of highly toxic smoke. So it's one of the reasons for Project Piaba, is if they can keep people collecting the fish but doing it in a sustainable manner and making a living out of it, then those people aren't going to then go and do illegal gold mining and poison the rivers, aren't going to chop down half the forest to make a farm so they can support their family. You can't necessarily blame the locals. All they're trying to do is survive. We're not talking about big corporations here. We're talking about people like us that live in a subsistence lifestyle. All they're trying to do is feed their family, give them a roof over their head, and keep them alive. Yeah, I say it's only in the USA at the moment, Chewy. Hopefully that will change. It'll take off over the months and years ahead. Because if we lose the Amazon rainforest, I think we basically lose the planet. It's that serious an issue. We then have to start having CO2 scrubbers and Queen backed up the World Bank International goes to the same cause. Yeah, it's I mean, I'm not an environmentalist. I don't go about worrying about my impact, as it were, on the environment. Now, I try not to do things that are obviously bad. Now, I sort my recycling out, but I don't drive. I use public transport. I don't go on planes. Don't do holidays. I actually took a quiz a while back where you answer all these questions and it works out your carbon footprint. And I'm like a quarter of a planet it came out to, whereas most people apparently are coming about as 1.5 planets. Yeah, exactly. It's got to be cheaper to keep the rainforest alive than it has to be to find a new planet, as Scott says, or set up CO2 scrubbers to pull the carbon out of the atmosphere. Yeah, and we're doing a pretty good job of killing off the oceans as well. Well, we've all seen the pictures of the Pacific trash vortex, or the trash gyre, is it? It's like the size of Texas, and it's just plastic, just an island of waste plastic. That's just horrific in my book. Yeah. So all these, I'm a firm believer in we're all world citizens. Just because someone, however many years ago, decided to draw a line on a map and go, this is our bit, that's your bit, we're different. We're not. We're all the same. If you cut me, do I not bleed? Or whatever this saying was. Yep. Not enough trees increases the temperature, causes longer droughts, which causes even less trees, and an increase in temperature and even longer droughts, and yeah, we'll end up with everywhere looking like the interior of Australia. Yeah, lurk away, Sand Creek, get those water changes done. That's more important than typing away in a random chat with some random British dude waffling on. Yeah, I'll say it's recognised by the government and the industries, but certain companies, I know I'm not just going to slag off American companies, because I'm sure British companies, Canadian companies all over the world, they're just more interested in making profit. They don't care about the rest, the rest of the people. As long as they're okay and they're making more and more and more money, it's a sad state of affairs, but money is king. And the rich just want to get richer, and they don't care what happens to the rest of the planet, because they'll be able to afford to have their CO2 scrubbers and their air conditioning while the rest of the people are struggling to breathe and roasting alive. Vive la révolution. Yeah. That's a point, Scott. I'm going to have to watch some more Missing 411 just so I'm up to date on everything. I think that's going to be an interesting conversation when we get together on that subject. I don't think we're going to solve it, but no offense, but greater minds than ours are trying. Yeah, people like to see where the tax money's going. Unfortunately, far too much of it is being spent on finding better ways to kill each other. Yeah, that's it. We can only do our bit. And hopefully, yeah. Oh, yeah. Live Aid. I actually remember sitting there in the garden and listening to Live Aid on the radio. Yeah, that's how old I am. Then Live 8 came along, and that was just awful in comparison. Musically, you couldn't compare it. When it kicks off, Elton John, amazing, talented artist, with Pete Doherty trying to do a Children of the Revolution by T-Rex. Oh God, that was awful. I think I'd have done a better job of singing that than Pete Doherty did. Yeah, so all we can hope really is that, that's just one of the best live performances of all time, Chewy. So all we can really hope is, we do our bit, we do our best to not screw up the planet, and hope beyond hope that the 1%, the elite, the corporations, whoever it may be, the man or the woman, maybe, probably more likely to be men, let's be honest, is now hopefully they realise and start doing something about it before it's too late. Rainbow trout and eating mice, another small rodent. Yeah, well, yeah. Rainbow trout, any kind of predatory fish that will eat anything, really. And in some lakes, I know specifically in Ireland, trout. I don't know whether it's rainbow or whether it's the brown. I think it's probably yeah, it is rainbows. Once they get to a certain size, they change. It's not all of them. It's only some of them. They're doing research into it. Chewy's probably researched it. Where they suddenly get a growth spurt and their jaw changes and they become purely piscivorous. And you get some absolutely monster trout. I think it's mainly the deepwater lochs in Ireland. That's loch spelled L-O-U-G-H, not L-O-C-H like in Scotland. Yeah, it's one of those kind of evolved in a niche. So I think it was Jeremy Wade found there are 2 different species of pike, as it were. Yeah, thanks everyone for hitting the like button, and thanks even more for just being here. On New Year's Day, I'd have thought most people would have had other things to do. But yeah, they found that there are 2 not distinct subspecies. They haven't necessarily done the DNA yet, but of the northern pike, the Esox lucius. There are 2 different species, one that does get considerably larger than the other. Yes, it's one of those good things. Yeah, several different species. This is a split off from Esox lucius. It's technically the same species, but much like with the pike, they've changed. Yes, the Wells catfish. Yeah, they're basically just brown eating tubes. But again, when Jeremy Wade went to Chernobyl, he found that most of the fish there are actually stunted rather than being giant versions. I mean, there was something I was watching where it was one of those travel vlog type channels on YouTube, and the guy's doing the tour of Chernobyl and the surrounding areas, and there's these giant catfish, and he looks down over the edge of the bridge. Look at these giant mutant catfish from the radiation, and I'm like, they're Wells catfish, and they're small Wells catfish. They're only about 3 foot long. Now, the full-grown Wells in the River Ebro, they're getting to 9 foot long now, and they're pretty much big enough to swallow a human. Yeah. So, yes. I'm trying to think. I think the record now is well over £300 for rod-caught Wells catfish from the River Ebro in Spain. About what we're reading about. Yeah, I'll say they're how can I put it? Not less evolved. They've evolved in a way that they're a simpler creature than some others, perhaps. So they suffer less from the issues of the radiation. They're more advanced, as it were, complex life forms. But I think I was saying, I mean, some areas where it was just the radioactive dust that is now cleared are pretty much safe to go back to, but they're not doing it, just purely on safety grounds. And some areas, near the reactor won't be safe for thousands of years. I think it was only a few years ago they shut down the other reactor. That's still been running. So they put a new sarcophagus over it lately. Yeah, summer runs on the Columbia messed up. Yeah, so it's things like that that are clues that global warming is happening. The fact that virtually every scientist on the planet goes, yeah, it's happening. How people can believe it isn't because they don't want to believe it, it's just beyond me. Yeah. And yeah, I'm getting a bit ranty today, aren't I? You can tell it's been that time of year. Yes, it's so don't know whether the salmon runs in Ireland and Scotland have been affected too much yet. But you know, it's only a matter of time. And if the polar ice caps keep melting and the what is it? The stream, Gulf Stream switches off due to the salinity change, then the UK will have the same weather conditions as Norway and Canada. Yeah, typical UK global warming means it's going to get colder. Zeb Hogan. You see, this is it. It's one thing thinking like a scientist, but no. They're the scientists that I kind of admire. Probably the wrong word. The ones that put things in terms that, you know, like layman's terms, for want of a better term, as it were. That's one of the things that Brian Cox is really good at with the astronomy, the space, and all that stuff, and the numbers and the physics and how it all works. He puts it in a way that anyone can understand. Might still blow your mind a bit, but it's understandable rather than, you know, Neil deGrasse Tyson as well. Really complex physics, and he puts it in a way that you can understand. You know, you don't have to be a physics major to get what's going on. Yeah, so it's the Gulf Stream that we rely on for our relatively warm weather compared to our latitude over here. Although I've got to say, I prefer it to be a bit cooler. Anywho, I've been going a little over 2 hours now. Apologies for the screw ups at the start. I've no idea what happened there. Probably my fault, but you know, these things happen. So I will say thank you everyone for tuning in and watching. Hope you enjoy your New Year's Day. Thank you for hitting the like. I guess everyone is already subscribed, otherwise you probably wouldn't be here. But yeah, thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your holidays, whatever you've got left. Don't work too hard. Peace out. Enjoy your fish. Enjoy your hobby. Love your family. Rock on. Bye.